Alright, what's going on, everyone? I'm back. I know it's been a hot minute. I was working on March videos, but I'm here. We're going to read some Shonen Jump today. We got Luffy Blazing in the chat. What's going on? Eddie Rayman, good to see you again. Blazing Boy, what's going on? Ouji is finally here. Yeah, I was doing some house chores, and I was making a cup of tea. Nice hot cup of chamomile tea. Welcome, Ouji. Welcome, Eddie. What's going on? Got Blitz Drake in the chat, too. Late due to Embers' greatness. I don't know if I'm going to read Embers today. Definitely going to read Kyoshi. Definitely going to read Ichi, because Ichi was really good last week. Marshall King is peak. Marshall King is doing pretty good so far. I feel like most of my concerns get answered each week with each new chapter. Anyway, you should. We got Aura. I'll try. I'm a few weeks behind on Embers. I'm a few chapters behind on Embers. I saw a new Spy Family chapter is out. Yeah, doesn't it come out every Sunday? Or did they change that? Don't forget Akane. I think I'm like 7 chapters behind on Akane, so I'll probably read. I'm probably gonna read. I'm a few chapters behind on Jump, to be honest. Like Astro Royale, I'm like 7 chapters behind. Witch Watch, I'm like 10 chapters behind. So a lot of those other series I'm going to read after the stream. Do I know news is kind of important? One author became top 10 as all-time history record. So future catch-up streams? No, I'll probably just read those on my own time. Although I do want to do other manga streams like we were doing for Radiant. Anyway. I spoiled that Senku got shot? Well, first let me apologize, because that is a pretty big spoiler. Although, second, I probably dropped a spoiler warning. So, I will still apologize, but I usually do a pretty good job of putting spoiler warnings. Did someone recommend Radiant to me? Yes. All the people. All the someones. Literally everyone I know said you should read Radiant. Party Jams, a regular in chat, recommended it. Eden's, a friend of mine, recommended it. One of my editors, Soul, really likes Radiant. I know a bunch of other people recommended it. Yo never shooting on anyone is a letdown. He does use the gun, and he does try to shoot people. But you have to remember, it's not a very reliable gun. So was it worth it? Oh yeah, 100%. I'm going to do a March update tomorrow, community post, but I already have a Radiant video in the works. I fully endorse Radiant. I'm only halfway through the series, but I'm like all in for Radiant. I think it's awesome. So to answer the question, I've not checked out the Radiant anime yet, and I'm on volume 12, I believe, of the manga. Either volume 12 or volume 13. Morning from New Zealand, we got Keparika Patina. Patina, hopefully I didn't butcher that. Well, hello. Good afternoon from New England, from the east coast of the United States. Senku resisted arrest. Stanley was justified. He's got the body cam footage. Oh boy. There's a Radiant anime. Oh yeah. There's 2 seasons, and people are like crossing their fingers that we get a season 3. It's by Biberi Animation, if I'm not mistaken, which is the same studio that does 100 Girlfriends. So maybe they might come out after they're done working on the current season. I don't know. We got Gamer Chan Leanne. What's going on? How you doing? Pleasure to see you. I forget what I was gonna say. Anyway, I've been yapping. I can certainly make some time for a bit of a off-the-cuff yap sesh at some point in the stream, but I do want to read Kyoshi and Ichi. It would probably help if I logged in. "100 Girlfriend" is peak? That's what I've heard. I've heard it's pretty good. Seth is better than Shinra? Ooh. That's a toughie. I would say I like Shinra more than Seth, but not drastically. I really like Seth, but I like Shinra more. That's just me. Anyway, so we are reading Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, chapter 34. If for some reason you're not reading my low-key favorite manga in Jump, there may be some spoilers. But as a recap, last week, Nihon and Jack Joe got their weird fusion power-up, and this week's chapter is Jack Joe's Past. So we're fighting this demon lord, and apparently they're brothers, I think, if I remember correctly. So looks like we're going to get some Jack Joe characterization. Let's find out. God, I love Akari. She's such a fun character. I'm doing okay. Nothing special. Just finished my 2 new arts. What were you working on? Or is that an anime? Is that some series I haven't heard of? Sakamoto Days released its best episode yesterday. I haven't been watching the anime. I watched the first few episodes just to kind of get a sense of how it looked. I think it's overhated, but it's okay. That being said, I do need to catch up to the manga because I'm very behind on the manga. Anime related drawings. Ooh, what were you drawing? On that note, as a fan of manga and any fan art myself personally, if there's any artists in chat and you ever feel like sharing fan art that you do of Dr. Stone, Kyoshi, One Piece, Ichi the Witch, anything, and you feel like, it'd be really cool if Ouji saw my fan art, feel free to share it on Twitter and tag me. I'd love to repost it, take a look at it. Assuming it's safe for work, of course. Excuse me. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me take a look at chat. We got Josh in the chat. Josh, what's going on? I would say that Kyoshi raised its stock for me. Okay, good. Ichi is great as always. Yeah, I don't know if I'd compare the magics to Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! They feel more like stands, if stands could like free roam. But I do get what you're coming from. You usually upload them on DeviantArt. Awesome, good for you. Yeah, the Dr. Stone fan art community is very strong. Like even in between seasons, people post a ton of Dr. Stone fan art. So the Demon Lord is attacking. He's got some kind of power up, I guess. The girl with the bow in her hair, or the headband, is attacking. Her and Akari get messed up. He uses an attack called Wicked Storm, which is just some sort of aura discharge. Okay, so we're getting the Jack Joe flashback. He was a demon lord who wanted human friends. You never fed on human souls, you didn't care for dominion, but your strength was the real deal. You established yourself as the 5th demon lord through power alone. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Jack Joe's demon lord design a lot more than the design we usually see him as. Do I know anything about Report Nezha 2? Just made... I don't even know what that is. Just made billions box office? I'm not even... I don't think I've ever heard of that before. What is it? Have you ever heard of this thing they have in the human world called manga? They've got fun stuff like karaoke and bowling. They have all kinds of fun stuff. I'm really jealous of them. I want to live in the human world and make friends. Excuse me, 10 years ago you vanished. To avoid being detected by exorcists and demons alike, you reduced yourself to your weakest form. Ah, so that's why he looks different. That makes sense. So we get this really cool scene between Kiyoshi and Nihon basically talking about how they were worried, like, if Jack Joe got his memories back and he was a total D-bag. So this is a really nice chapter because I was actually just thinking of how much I don't really care for Jack Joe and Nihon. I thought they were like probably the most boring characters out of the cast. And after this chapter, I feel like, you know, they're still not like my favorite characters, but I feel like I like them a lot more than I did last week. So yeah, Kiyoshi is killing it again. I'm gonna keep reading the chapter, but I am fully endorsing Kiyoshi as I always have, and I am 100% fanboying. We got Justin in the chat. Justin, what's going on? Good to see you. Sorry, I've been MIA with streams. It's one. So, what's it called? Neza 2. It's one Chinese mythology, like compared Monkey King, one of the best animation. Everyone said it's Oscar worthy. I'll have to look into it. That sounds pretty dope. I know everyone's really into the like Sun Wukong mythos lately with that one game. What was it called? Just Wukong. And then of course you got Dragon Ball. Whoa. So Jack Joe just grew a bunch of extra arms. That's crazy. Looks like something out of Pokemon, like crazy ghost arms. They look like Haunter hands. This goes far beyond his old power. Well, of course, he's got the power of friendship on his side. I will say I really like this Demon Lord. He's got like the whole like he's got 6 arms, so he does like prayers and stuff with the 2 arms he's not using. Demon banishing Lance Sphere. Okay, that was pretty cool. So this is what I'm saying, right? Like Nihon and Jack Joe were, prior to this chapter, Black Myth Wukong. Okay, thank you, Justin. That's what I was trying to say. Prior to this chapter, I really didn't care for Jack Joe and Nihon, and they just had one of the coolest fights we've seen in Kyoshi. So that being said, if the 2 lamest characters just had an insane fight, like imagine how insanely good the rest of the fights are going to be in this arc. So I honestly think Black Parade has the potential to be one of the best like first big battle arcs, I guess, in a shonen I've ever seen. It really does have that potential. Kyoshi continues to be slept on by manga fans. I honestly think it's only a matter of time before it gets an anime announcement. Chapter 34, so maybe early 2026 we'll get an anime announcement. I think that's pretty fair. Next year, fingers crossed, we get a Kyoshi anime announcement. But yeah, loved chapter 34. So on that note, we'll go to Ichi the Witch. Ichi the Witch was really good last week. Obviously, I wasn't here to read it, but I read it on my own, and I'm really excited to see more of this brutalizer character. What's his name? Gokuraku the Brutalizer. Gokuraku. I'm just gonna call him Goku. I know that's a bit sacrilegious to just borrow that name, but I'm just gonna call him Goku. Hopefully, new series has potential. What new series? Also, what's going on, Alex? Pleasure to have you. One thing I hate in most shonens is the power of friendship. I like it when it's done well. Like, it's not my favorite trope by any means, but it can be done in an entertaining way. So anyway, Goku was just straight up kidnapping Ichi, and he's like, "Make me into a witch." Descaris jumps in front of him, casts a turtle spell on him. What are we going to be discussing? Well, we are reading new chapters of Shonen Jump, and right now we're reading the newest chapter of Ichi the Witch. And on that note, a really cool page on page 3 of chapter 24 from Gokuraku. Simple kick. So he's got like a Saitama style of moves where he's just like, you know, simple punch, simple kick. I certainly hope Kyoshi gets an anime. Excuse me. I have a pretty strong feeling Ichi the Witch will get an anime. It's just a matter of time. So, Descaris trapped Gokuraku and Ichi in this giant bell, and this guy just dug a giant hole under the bell. So this guy's kind of a freak of nature. So they pop up in the middle of this herd of goats. Are we waiting for something? No, we're not waiting for anything. What was I going to say? So they pop up in the middle of this herd of goats, and sorry, I lost my train of thought. They pop up in the middle of this herd of goats, and Gokuraku just like kills one of the goats because they won't leave him alone. So this guy seems somewhat unhinged. And he has this weird gem spine looking thing on his back. Ichi's like, what's that thing on your back? And he's like, oh, I built it. It's a magic item. I messed with my body so that I could touch magics as a man. An anti-magic augmented human is what you could call me. So he's like a cyborg, basically. Sort of. There's one guy I really want to punch. Interesting. Can we discuss any manga, or is it just Embers? Well, ideally, whatever I'm reading. Can everyone hear me okay? I feel like I'm talking into a void. Anyway, I'm going to assume this person I'm going to assume this person... I sound kind of soft. Okay, fair. Yeah, I will say my voice is a little rough today, so I'm trying my best. We hear you fine? Okay, thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. Anyway, so I keep losing my train of thought. Sorry about that. I'm going to assume that the person Gokuraku wants to punch is the world hater. That's just my instinct, but it's also like we just met the guy, so I have no idea. So Gokuraku was like very in Ichi's face, asking him all kinds of questions. Ichi just pulls a knife and he's like, let me dress that goat before you, ask me 20 questions. So Ichi points out that when Gokuraku killed the goat, he killed it with a clean cut, and it probably didn't die feeling any pain. So Gokuraku does seem unhinged, but he doesn't seem like a total jerk. He just seems like a bit of a wild boy. So Uroro meets Gokuraku and definitely doesn't like him. Gokuraku eats Uroro, decides he's gross, as I would imagine. I thought ingesting you might get me a little closer to being a witch, which, is not the weirdest idea in a magic world, where capturing magics makes you magic. So I don't blame the guy. I wish I had an Uroro. Why? He's mean and annoying and generally the worst ever. They have kind of a sibling dynamic going on. So again, they've teased about whoever Gokuraku wants to kill. So I'm guessing it's the world hater. And then of course Uroro works his magic, pun not intended by the way. He says if you want to be a witch, all you have to do is kill Ichi. So I think Gokuraku is going to leave Ichi alone. At least I hope so. I don't know what kind of history Gokuraku has. He seems to really hate whoever this person is, so it could be one of those situations where he's willing to do whatever it takes to power up. So we could get an Ichi versus Gokuraku fight next chapter. But we'll see. Anyway, so far, as good as the Ichi chapter was, I feel like Kiyoshi takes the cake so far. I'm a little behind on everything else, so I think what we're going to do is we're just going to read One Piece, and then we're going to call it a day. Excuse me. So we are reading One Piece chapter 1141, An Older Woman. If you are not caught up on One Piece or you don't want any spoilers, then this is probably the time to peace out. But we are going to read, starting with the cover story, Yamato's Golden Harvest, Pilgrimage, Can't See Through the Tears of Anger. Is that who I think it is? We have, not page 1. We have Ulti, and then, what's his name? The saber-tooth guy. Is that page 1 he's stepping on? Anyway. Also with Embers, it is good and is going into some battle of tactics. Beethoven is really good. I'm going to be honest, I have no interest in reading Beethoven. I wasn't really impressed with the first chapter. If after the first volume or so, Who's Who, thank you. Appreciate that. I knew I was going to forget that name. So, and I would imagine that has to be page 1. Excuse me. But anyway, if people say after like chapter 8 or so that Beethoven is really good, I'll give it another chance. But that was like one of the worst first chapters I've ever read. Anyway, so we're leaving the castle. The Frankie's crew is getting a tour of the Atom. Each branch of the tree has its own long history. You might say that the vulnerabilities of Elbaf are fire and lightning. Huh. Well, who do we know that has a fire and or lightning devil fruit? I don't know. Is that a hint that Enel could be dropping by? I certainly hope so. So, what's his name? Jarl or Ja Rule? Be funny if his name was Ja Rule, but I'm going to call him Jarl. Too bad I'm not familiar with One Piece. Oh, well, that's okay. Hopefully you have your ears covered if you don't want spoilers, Leanne. But we're going to call him Jarl, because I don't know if his name's actually Ja Rule. That'd be pretty funny, though. But we'll call him Jarl. King Jarl, or old King Jarl, says his type of woman is an older woman. And of course, he's like hundreds of years old, so there's not exactly an older woman for him. Chief Jarl is his name. Sanji says, where did Gerd get off to? Excuse me. So Gerd is talking to, what's his name? The creepy, is he a navigator? Yeah, navigator. We have to wait until the Straw Hats return. If they find out about Loki, I'll be treated like an accomplice. I've always wished we could release Loki and have him leave this island forever. Okay, so Luffy and Zoro have the key for Loki's chains. They go back to the underworld, and now they're face to face with Loki, who, if you recall, got the shit smacked out of him by the God Knights. So Luffy's fighting with Zoro because he's like, hey, this guy's dying. Let's help him. And Zoro's like, wait a minute. We got to assess the situation. We have to assess the situation. Classic Zoro. Zoro with a good point. He goes, if somebody the size of Oars starts raising hell, we're screwed. Which is a nice callback to the fact that when they had to fight Oars, it was not good for them at all. So it's kind of nice because it shows that, like, even though they've powered up from back then, like, they're still not so strong that they can just, like, one-shot somebody like Oars. Zoro. Zoro's a jerk. This guy's sitting here practically half dead, and Zoro kicks him while he's down. So Hyrodine and his crew go to stop Luffy. They say if Loki gets free, it'll be hell unleashed. So Luffy stops their ship, catches them, saves them. Hyrodine says, whatever you do, don't free Loki. We made Rodo. That was his name. Spill the beans. We've known Loki since we were children. If he told you anything that made him sound sympathetic, then he's lying. He's the kind of beast who will kill a so-called friend at a moment's notice. Luffy, of course, looking very suspicious. Holy hell, this guy is tall. So he stands up. Hyrodine says, take your hand off Ragnar. Yeah, this dude Loki is going to be bad news for sure. I'm curious to see if he's going to take the bandages off his face, because he's had the bandages on his face the whole time. Anyway, very curious to find out about the next chapter of One Piece, because they've been hyping up this guy Loki forever. Elden Ring boss stage moment, pretty much. Who's right, Zoro or Luffy, for judging the prisoner? I would say Zoro. Zoro is obviously in the right. Luffy, obviously, you know, Luffy's not the brightest guy. The spread for the last page was sick. I thought it was awesome. I mean, you heard my reaction. I saw that last page and I was like, God damn, that guy's huge. Like, even for a giant, he's huge. Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. Look out for a video Tuesday. Then there'll be another video Friday. There'll be a monthly update tomorrow. Also, if I'm not mistaken, we should still have Dawn Dawn. Excuse me, Dawn Dawn just came back from break, so I can't imagine it's on break again. Let's see, Dawn Dawn. Yep, Dawn Dawn, new Dawn Dawn tomorrow. So tomorrow will be a Dawn Dawn stream, same time as today. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, everybody. I would probably have to say One Piece was the best chapter of the week. Kyoshi, close second, at least out of the chapters I've read. Like I said, I'm going to go read everything else later today. But yeah, thanks for